Listen, we've been following this story on the channel for a few months now. Everton could be sued over their staggering £373 million losses by angry rivals, despite their agreement with the Premier League, as top-flight clubs scrutinise their accounts amid doubts over the COVID write-off. These losses have been underwritten by Moshiri and previously by Usmanov. Usmanov's no longer in the picture. Moshiri's there. And it's safe to say that Premier League clubs are only permitted to lose £105 million over a 3-year period. Everton reached an agreement to avoid this breach, and it didn't seem fair at the time, and it doesn't really seem fair. Delayed publication of their 2021 accounts last week have added to the ill feeling, and the write-offs for COVID seem a little bit dodgy. You can write things off. I don't want to go into an accountancy sort of tutorial here, but you can write off things which become allowable expenses, and those allowable expenses reduce your losses basically. So you can add things back in. So you can sort of say, okay, well, the loss for COVID was X. This is what the turnover would have been, so the loss is bigger than it should be because of COVID. It seems a little bit nonsensical. And obviously, other Premier League clubs are having to stick to these rules, and they are not very happy, and they may look to sue Everton. And they've obviously spent £500 million, and they're fighting relegation, so they've not spent that money very well, to be honest with you. And as I say, like, you can lose £105 million over a 3-year period. Although if you invest in infrastructure, women's football, community project, they're exempt. So you can build, like Tottenham built a stadium for best part of £1 billion, and that wasn't part of their losses. The losses are only going to be part of like player transfers and like wages and the running of the club basically. But what Everton are looking to do, as I say, is to add in allowances for the impact of COVID. And it looks a little bit dodgy. It looks like they may have been, a bit. I mean, I'm not accusing them of anything, but it looks like they might have been a bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Creative with their accounting, a bit of creative accounting. And it seemed a little bit unfair because in the Championship, they're militant. I mean, they've basically given Derby like points deductions, and they're militant in terms of like when you overspend, you get points deductions, you get literally relegated. I mean, Derby are probably going to get relegated. Rooney's done an unbelievable job, and the players have done an unbelievable job considering they didn't even have any players. So, but they're probably going to get relegated because they've just been deducted too many points. It's too big, the gap. But yeah, I think the skepticism amongst rival clubs that these write-offs are just dodgy about their missing gate receipts. I think they've inflated the missing gate, the missing COVID gate receipts. They've inflated considerably, and as a result, they've managed to write more off and then avoid this loss. But they've just overspent, and they obviously thought by spending 500 million they'd have Champions League money, but it's just they're literally on the verge. If Watford pick up any type of form, Everton are gone. If you look at Everton's games, they've got quite a lot of games to play, but they're just losing. They just lose. United play, and they'll probably beat United on Saturday, to be honest, but God knows. But they need to start winning matches, and they need to win, say, 3 matches pretty soon to get themselves out of there, because really there's only 4 teams that are now going to go down. Norwich look like they're done. Well, Burnley, Watford, and Everton, and Burnley could also, Burnley are like. So it looks really drastic, and I think that if you're gonna smash Championship clubs, like, rightly or wrongly, you have to do it to Premier League clubs, and I think Everton are in big trouble. When I saw their initial accounts, I think Everton are in big trouble. Look at the videos I've made. I think they're in for a rude awakening. If they get relegated and Moshiri somehow gets sanctioned, they will be bankrupt. They will go the same way as Leeds United. Forget the new stadium. They'll be in deep trouble. They need to stay in the league, avoid getting a points deduction, and they probably need to get rid of about 5 or 6 players off their wage bill and attempt next season to avoid relegation again. And I don't think Frank Lampard's the man, but watch this space. Everton are in deep trouble. Give it a few months. Mark my words. I've said it previously. I hope I'm wrong because I don't wish bad upon anyone, but you can't legislate for such spending and such like profligate, reckless spending and not expect it to bite you in the ass. Unless you've got a football strategy, you can spend billions. You can spend $1 billion. Man United have and got nowhere. 7th in the league. So let's watch this space.